Section 10.5, number 1, negative 4x squared plus x squared plus 8x plus 1. So adding two different polynomials. These are relatively simple. What you'll want to do is put the like terms together. So I'm going to go ahead and put the x squareds together. So we've got negative 4x squared and we've got positive x squared. And let me do that in yellow. Then we've got x and 8x that we can put together. So I'll put those next to each other. And then we've got just the 1 all by itself. So we'll just put plus 1 there. Then you're going to add like terms. We've got negative 4x squared plus x squared. That's going to be negative 3x squared. Keep in mind there's a 1 in front of that x squared there. Then when you put the x and the 8x together, remember there's a 1 in front. So we've got 9x and then plus 1. These polynomial additions that have a plus in the middle of them are relatively easy. You're just going to put the like terms together, and then that's basically it. Number 2, 7x, or negative 7x plus 5, and then we're subtracting. It's a little bit different from number 1 in that we've got the minus in between the two parentheses. And then subtracting negative 8x squared plus x. So still doing the same thing here, only when we put the 7x with the x over here, we're going to want to change its sign because we're subtracting. Same with the negative 8x squared, even though it doesn't, there's no other x squared to put with it. So this is just going to be positive 8x squared. So positive 8x squared, and then we're going to go ahead and put the x terms together, 7x. And then instead of this positive x here, when you've got a minus in the middle, you've got to change the sign of the terms after the minus. So everything that's in that second parentheses has a sign that's going to change. So the negative 8x squared is positive, and then we would put the x's together, negative 7x, and then negative x. And then the 5 doesn't have anything to go with it. After that, put your like terms together. So we've got 8x squared minus 8x plus 5. Number 3, doing basically the same thing. Make sure you note that we've got a minus in the middle. That means that when we put these like terms together, we're going to change all the signs in the second parentheses. So we've got the x squareds we're going to put together, 6x squared, and this will actually be positive 3x squared. We'll put the 3x together with not 9x, but negative 9x. I'm going to change its sign. And then that negative 2 doesn't have anything to put with it, but make sure you change its sign also, so positive 2. Then we're just putting like terms together. We've got 6x squared, 3x squared. Got 3x and negative 9x. Number 4, 5a minus the quantity 3 times a minus 5 plus 3a minus 3. Keep in mind we've got a minus here outside of a grouping. So everything that we ultimately end up with inside that grouping will be subtracted. We're going to change all of its signs. But since we have some things to do inside that parentheses, we'll go ahead and do that before we do anything else. 3 times the a minus 5 we'll go ahead and do. So I'm just going to rewrite all of this as it is. Still going to keep the grouping because we're going to figure out what all's inside of it before we do anything else. So 3 times a, 3 times negative 5, and then plus 3a minus 3. Then we still have some things we can do inside. You can put your like terms together, the 3a and the 3a we can add. So we've got 5a minus now 6a on the inside and negative 18. And once you've got the inside of that parentheses or inside of that grouping to where you can't put anything together, the 6a minus 18, we can't simplify that at all. Now we're just going to subtract all of this. So basically what that means is 5a and we're going to subtract 6a. Basically you're putting the like terms together, the 5a and the 6a, only you're subtracting it. And then we're also changing the sign of the 18. So negative 1a plus 18, and remember when you enter this in the computer, leave off the 1 in front of a variable. You're just going to put in negative a plus 18. The last example, negative a cubed minus another grouping, 5 minus 4a squared minus 8 times the quantity 4 minus 2a squared, closed groupings. And same as on the last one, we want to deal with everything inside this larger bracket before we do any subtracting. So a cubed minus, we're going to keep the brackets. And on the inside there, you've got the negative 8 butted up against the parentheses. So we're going to